How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another ARK bonus, and today we're going to be discussing, in my opinion, the best early game tames that you can get on ARK Survival Evolved. Now, hopefully this will transfer over to Survival Ascended, but we don't know what, every single change to Survival Evolved will be made when Survival Ascended comes out. So, this list strictly pertains to Survival Evolved, mainly the island. In my opinion, some of the best early game tames you should have when you're on the island map. And starting off, now, before we actually get into these tames, I want to define what early game is. In my opinion, a survivor level is divided into multiple parts. There's early game, mid game, late game, and end game. And for me, early game is defined as levels 1 through 39. So, yeah, levels 1 through 39 is early game. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And the first one we're going to be talking about is the dodo. Because they are probably one of the first tames you're going to have when you start playing ARK. They're super easy. They're knockout tames. You just punch them until they fall unconscious. You just go up to a bush, grab some measure berries, or any berries as a matter of fact, because taming effectiveness does not matter when it comes to dodos. Throw a bunch of berries on them, and they tame up, really super quick. Yeah, and they'll eat any berry you give them. So, yeah, and the reason the dodo is so important is because of dodo eggs. First tame here, she's a female. She happened to be really high level when I tamed her up. That's why she's 197 right now. But out of every 5 times a dodo takes a poo, they have a chance to lay a dodo egg, which is used in basic kibble, which you use to tame up some of the other creatures on this list. Yeah, so dodos, they're pretty important just for the eggs. That's pretty much it. That's why you tame up a dodo. So get a male, get a female, actually get quite a few females, get a male, maybe 2, just to keep that mate boost up, and you'll have dodo eggs up the wazoo before you know it. So yeah, with that being said, let's move on to number 2. Okay, so the next creature in the beginning game you should set your sights on is a Parasaurolophus, or a Parasaur, as they are called in ARK. And Parasaurs, they can be tamed. They're super easy knockout tames. You tame them up at level 9, actually. They are the first mounts you can ride. Yeah, you tame them up at level 9. They're really easy knockout tames. Again, just throw berries in their inventory. Unless you want a super Parasaur, taming effectiveness doesn't really matter. This one, Paralotosaurus, I got her at a pretty high level, and she's still gaining XP because I did not put her in much use. But she's a decent berry gatherer, and she's also good at getting seeds for crops, which is really, really important. But her best feature is her turret mode. Alert settings, enable turret mode. You'll notice her head's glowing. Okay, apparently there's nothing dangerous down here. Okay, there's something dangerous. There's a Dillo. There we go. And she'll highlight that Dillo. Or that, and that little red dot is where the Dillo either is or where it was. So that is pretty dang helpful. Especially in the early game. And if you're playing in the late game and you have a huge base, but it's really vulnerable, it has like a lot of places you can get, come in and out of. It's just like you have like a little small base like this, but there are a lot of openings and you don't have a wall finish. Tame yourself a few parasaurs, or, you know, tame a male and a female and then breed them. You don't have to breed them. And then strategically station them around your base. You could put, let's say, if I were going to make this whole area a big, massive base, I could put a parasaur here. I could put one right over there, maybe over there. And then give them unique names. And then when each one does its little turret mode alert, then we can tell where the threat is around the base, and we can go investigate that threat. So, and around here, Dillos are usually the biggest threat. Occasionally you'll get raptors in that forest, but yeah, Dillos should be your biggest concern around here. So that's usually what you're gonna get. Occasionally Ichthyornis, when they spawn in, you'll get the Ichthyornis alert, and whenever you smack something, like if I were to shoot that Bronto. That Bronto would be highlighted because it would aggro on me, and it would be an enemy. So, let me demonstrate. Okay, and this guy's going to be able to make it up that cliff. Yep, see? Highlighted the Bronto. So, I should really go harvest that guy's corpse. Can you make it down there without getting us killed? You can. Okay, that's good to know. Now, unfortunately, they can't harvest corpses. So, you have to do all the corpse harvesting yourself. But yeah, ooh, we got a good amount of prime meat. But a special attribute that they have, let's find that Dillo. There's a Dillo. Is that they, if you're riding them and right click, it'll highlight stuff, because when you're riding them, turret mode will turn off. But they can frighten things with their C attack. So see how in the upper little bit it says horse? That means the parasaur just frightened that Dillo. So it's going to be a bit hoarse for a while. It can't do anything. Hopefully we don't pull aggro from that Dillo. Did we? No. Awesome. But yeah, the parasaur is pretty dang useful in the early game. Hey Turtle, how you doing? So yeah, with that being said, let's move on to number 3. Okay, so coming in at number 3 is this little guy on my shoulder, the Mesopithecus. One of the, in my opinion, better shoulder pets. There are a lot of good shoulder pets in this game, but for the island, this guy is one of the better shoulder pets. Because, well, there are 3 shoulder pets on the island that I really like. This guy is one of them. Because he can snare things whenever we get involved in any little escapade or issue. Let's go down to that turtle that we saw. It's a low level. Where'd that turtle go? Wow, that is a fast turtle. Okay. Actually, behavior. Attack my target. Okay. Well, that's a trike. Where'd that turtle go? Oh, I don't want to beat up a trike. I want to beat up that turtle. You know what? Let's go for a dillo. I got a shotgun. Where's that dillo? Okay, that guy's running. I want a dillo that's gonna attack me. 135 dillo. Here, I'll pull you. Okay. I'll pull you because I don't want everyone on my base hearing the attack target. Come on. Little further now. That's rare, 135 dillo. I'm gonna have to actually tame you. Come on, dude. Okay, a little bit further. Okay, we should be good now. See? And look, the Dillo's snared. Because of the Mesopithecus. So it took 1 point of damage. But look, it's snared. Its movement speed is reduced. And then now I'm gonna knock you out. Yeah. So I've yet to tame a Dillo. So you know what? I'm gonna tame this guy out. But that is one of the best uses for these guys. And wow, that trike is fast. Yeah, they will snare just about anything and everything. And that Brontos prime meat should be cooked up. There we go. And you know what? I'm gonna get the Pteranodon. Make things easier. There's that Dillo. But yeah, it's really good for snaring things, and that snare works on just about anything. You can have all that prime. Yeah. So, let's see here. We'll put you on passive. Did you stop following me? Can you pick up... Whoa. No. Can you pick up Dillos? I forget. Can Pteranodons pick up Dillos? Yes, they can. Awesome. Okay. So we got ourselves a Dillo. But the Mesopithecus, they can do Spinos, they can do Rexes. I don't think they can do Gigas and Carcharodontosaurus. And I don't think they can do things underwater. But they really can come in handy when it comes to saving you. Plus, they get weight reduction on things when you put them on your shoulders. So right now we have, let's see, how much weight? You have 4 weight. Let's see, how much weight do we get when we put you on? Okay. Right now we have 153.9. Still 153.9 because shoulder pads have no weight themselves. Okay. So she has 4 weight. Now let's see how much weight we get. 151.9. So yeah, you get weight reduction on whatever you put in their inventory. That's pretty dang cool. Why do I keep checking the Dillo? I don't need to check the Dillo. Dillo's not on this list. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty dang cool. So it's a good thing we bought the Pteranodon down here, because now I don't have to cut to our next one, because our next one is the Pteranodon. Because you can, they will likely be your first flyer, because level 38 is when you can saddle a Pteranodon. And Pteranodons, they are not very good, but they are great when you first need to take to the skies, because they are fast, but their stamina plummets, and they don't have crap for melee. I mean, look at this. Here. 55. That is not good. And see, our stamina is almost completely gone. So if we had done that one more time over water, yeah, we would have fallen into the water. But they are good for getting you up north into the snow biome to get our next one. And our next one is a game changer. They will help you so much. They are tricky to get because they are constantly fighting things, but they are so helpful. They're even boss fight worthy if you do things right. They are even boss fight worthy. And here it is, the Mammoth, one of the absolute champs when it comes to early game tames, because believe it or not, the Mammoth is an early game tame. Look at that, level 31 is the saddle, and it's a cheap saddle too. 140 fiber, 260 hide, 10 metal ingot. Piece of cake. So, and a cool thing with the Mammoth, oh, well, you can't pick up trikes, but look at how hard this one hits. Now, she's been leveled, but look at her. She's hitting for 332. And yeah, level 85 trike, absolutely toast. Now, she is amazing for multiple reasons. Number one, she is an absolute amazing tank. Number two, she gathers a bunch of wood. And she has weight reduction on wood. Now, thatch, no. But wood, yes. Look, 12.5 here, 50 on me. That's pretty good. Plus, they can gather berries as well. Look at all those berries we just gathered. Just one fell swoop. Now the downside is that they don't have weight reduction on berries. Another downside, they don't gather fiber. So that is the Mammoth's biggest downside. But the plus is that they gather a ton of wood and they have weight reduction on the wood. Now, if you use the left click on a tree, you get more thatch. If you use spacebar on a tree, you get more wood. Yeah. So yeah. And then right click. This attack is actually used to pick things up. I think I saw... Yeah, there we go. Tech Parasaur. We should be able to pick that up. And I still have the ARK. Yeah, there we go. And now we can just throw it. Look at that. And then you can also do that. Which, has a special ability that I believe, makes enemies more vulnerable to your attacks. But, yeah. And it lasts, I think it has a 15-second cooldown. Or it lasts for 15 seconds, I believe. But early game, you don't need that because you're not going to be doing bosses. Early game, you're going to be getting a ton of wood and a ton of berries. That's what you're going to want a mammoth for. And a mammoth is absolutely going to make your life so much easier. So yeah, these guys are absolutely amazing. Plus, they are super tanky if you level them up right. I mean, look. I've been leveling her up for a while. She's got over 10k health. She's got 11k health, 371 melee, 1500 weight, which could be better, but then again, she gets weight reduction, so she doesn't really need too many levels in weight. She needs some levels, but not a lot. So, but she will knock over any trees you do not have her harvest, so... If you need a tree to be harvested, yeah, make sure you get your mammoth. But now it's time to talk about our next one. And our next one is actually, given the current weather, this is actually perfect, ouch, for demonstration purposes. We have a cold front coming through right now. And I have really high fortitude, or fairly high fortitude. But you'll notice we have a cold front. It's starting to get kind of chilly. It's dropping. It's 77 right now. Just dropped to 76. But with these guys, the fluffy dudes, what all do you have on you? You have my armor. And my flak armor. Give me my flak armor back. They help regulate your fortitude. So if you get yourself Fluffy Dude, if you get yourself an Otter, these guys will absolutely help you out so much in the game. And now look at that. Look at our hypothermal insulation. 525. Let's throw that guy down. Move away. Okay, it's 155, hyper 205. Go pick him back up. Wait for it. 522, 375. They're better at hypothermal insulation. So they're better in the cold than they are in the heat. But, yeah, let me change into this armor. Because this armor is not what you want to be in when it's cold. Then again, my high fortitude is probably helping that out. Yeah. And see, look at that now. So, because this armor, it's better wear this in cold environments than hot environments. Yeah, but the only reason I'm wearing this is because we're talking about beginner stuff. So yeah, that is the Otter, which is a really huge plus. And now we're going to wait for this cold front to go away before I demonstrate our next one. Okay, so the Equus. And the Equus is a really, really good tame. Now, to saddle the Equus, you need to be level 20. But the cool thing about the Equus is that you don't need a saddle to ride it. You can ride it without a saddle. Now, without the saddle, this is what its inventory looks like. With the saddle, this is what its inventory looks like. Yeah, they act as a mortar and pestle, which is pretty dang cool. And all you do is left click, and they will gather a bunch of berries for you. Now, if you use your right click, they actually have a torpor attack. And then you add that C animation, which is kind of cool looking. But yeah, they will gather a ton, not to mention that they are able to jump as well. They'll gather a bunch of berries. They are perfect when it comes to making up narcotics and stimulants. And repellent, you can make everything. You can also make a lasso in here. Now, unfortunately, they don't gather fiber, so you have to gather the fiber for the lasso yourself. But when it comes to smacking trees, they gather more thatch than they do wood. They don't gather a lot, and they don't have weight reduction. But they do gather more thatch than wood. And these guys are, honestly, if you breed and imprint them, get pretty dang fast. You can use these guys to get from A to B pretty dang fast by land, if you choose to do so. So yeah, the Equus, highly recommend. I believe you need to be level 10 to tame one. You sneak up behind it and you feed it rock carrot. And then it'll go and you play a little mini game. If you don't feed it just right, it's gonna buck you off, give you that torpor attack, and yeah, you're gonna get knocked unconscious, and then a Carno or a Raptor or a Rex, whatever's in the area, is gonna come and eat you. So yeah, don't mess up the mini game. Alright, so the Stego. The Stegosaurus, one of the most famous dinosaurs, is actually one of the best early game tames. You can get their saddle, I believe it's level 20, yeah, 26. Yeah, pretty cheap. 35 wood, 200 hide, 110 fiber. Now, Stegos, they have a ton of... Now, Stegos, they have a decent amount of torpor, and they take reduced damage. So it takes a while to knock these guys out. But if you get a good one like mine, now mine's been really heavily leveled up and imprinted. Yeah, so that's why her name is Stego Queen. Because of all the imprinting she has received. You can get some pretty decent stats. These guys you can take into boss fights, just like the Mammoth. They are pretty slow, however. That is the one downside. Oh, just look at that. She's ready for another pump in movement speed. These guys, it's all about movement speed. But they harvest a ton of berries, and they have weight reduction on berries. 10 weight in my inventory. Here, let me dump all this out. And see, look at how much she gathers. Yeah. That's a lot of berries. So yeah, 10 in my inventory, 2.5 in hers. It's amazing. Plus, they have 3 different plate modes. They have the hardened plate, which is damage reduction and prevents dismount. The heavy plate, which prevents dismount and applies slow movement, or slows down the amount of berries she harvests. See, she's not harvesting as much. But when we smack a tree in heavy plate, she gathers a lot of thatch. Sharpened plate, which is what we started on, prevents armor penetration and dismount. Which means if you're riding on this and you get attacked by, like, say, a Dimorphodon, it's not going to be able to hit you, which is pretty dang cool. Plus, you get more berries in that mode. If you're going to use them as a gatherer, sharpened plate is what you want for berries. Hardened plate, you don't gather berries, but instead you will be gathering a bunch of wood. Now, unfortunately, they do not have weight reduction on wood. So, yeah, mammoth is the go-to for wood. But for berries, stego. Definitely get a stego. You will get plenty of berries with a stego. They are up there with a Bronto almost when it comes to berry gathering. They are absolutely amazing. So, plus they get so many seeds. Look at how many seeds we got. That's pretty dang impressive. So yeah, stegos, absolutely amazing. Again, just level 26, but you do need to watch out for that torpor. So make sure you have a good crossbow. Make sure you get those headshots. You don't have to worry about killing these guys because they do take reduced damage. But yeah, they are just absolutely amazing. And yeah, that's gonna do it for my list of my preferred early game tames. As you notice, I only had one meat eater on this list, the Pteranodon. Personally, there are really good carnivores like saber teeth. They're good. I believe, what is the saber? Yeah, level 37. They're good, but that's when just gathering hide and stuff like that. But when you want to gather the heavy resources, these guys are really good. There are Ankies that you can get as well, but the reason I didn't cover those is because they are much harder to get. You have to travel to dangerous areas to get those, whereas all of these are literally like right in your backyard, except the Equus. The Equus and the Mammoth. Those two you do have to do some traveling for. And the Otter as well. Otter, you do have to go to the river. You do have to go to one of the rivers. I recommend the river that's right past where the Cave of the Hunter is. So if you go to the right of that, where there are a bunch of beaver dams, you can get otters there. You can get otters right up in that way. So yeah, those can be tricky to get, but the others are pretty dang easy to get. So yeah, that's why these are my top picks. Yeah, it may seem kind of confusing, but that is just my personal opinion. This is just my personal recommendation to new ARK players. And then I was going to put Moshops. I was going to have Moshops on the list, but unfortunately with the Moshops, you have to have a lot of weird, crazy foods ready for them. Sometimes you'll luck out and just ask for a Tintoberry or Mejoberry, but more often than not, they'll ask for prime meat jerky or bee honey or cooked prime fish meat or something like that. Stuff that you're probably not going to have in the early game. But yeah, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.